Wait for that red light in the corner.
Oi, oi! How are we, chat? Thursday Club. What are you saying?
I've got a Guinness.
That's a brew, that mate. That is a it's a latte. You're getting worse.
It's not.
It's a Bovril.
It would be a latte if I had it. It would. It really would. Flat white.
That was a hot gulp.
Oh, do you see that light that's just come on behind me? That was
Let
unplanned. me turn that off. How are we, fellas?
Oh, good,
Good,
mate.
good, mate. Yeah. Been looking forward to Thursday Club.
I love Thursday Club. It's the best. It's
Great,
the best.
Great, isn't it? Oh, mainly because I can lock the bedroom door and keep the kids out. It's great. Love it.
It's a bit of a weird one because it's the last week proper of the season. We might have might have to see what happens. So listen, we've got to enjoy the ride, I guess.
Well, that's what we're doing all season, aren't we? We're enjoying this roller coaster of a ride. We're glad I'll be glad when the season finishes and about a week and a half later it starts again.
Yeah,
it's good for us footy fans, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and the thing is, this is going to keep going because we go straight into the Euros, and the Euros finishes and the season starts, and then next, if I'm not mistaken, it's the World Cup. No.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because we skipped here, didn't we? It's next year, isn't it? What are we on now? 2021. Yeah, it's next year. It's next year, so it's just an absolute.
They should be 2 years apart, but
because of restrictions, it's a mammoth of football.
Because it's Qatar, is it not? I don't know. Is it different? Because it's in December. We say about December.
It's the end of isn't the end of next year?
Probably makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. It's a mess.
But what about the season? What about the season? I don't know anything about football. I'm telling you, mate.
As soon as we started in this conversation, I thought we shouldn't have done this because
ask me about a nightclub in Manchester. I know every single one of them.
Tiger or Space.
Tiger all day.
Yeah,
Monday night Tiger, old school Monday night Tiger.
To be fair, Space was in Leeds. I got
the one with the karaoke dickle.
Space was where you was like going underground. You used to walk down a tunnel, didn't you? When you go in, it's like a tunnel. No, Monday night Tiger. And it's been absolutely steaming at Manor Farm on a Tuesday. Running around listening to back orders at you.
I was always more of like a 42s kind of guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, them ones. Dirty Converse. Converse kind of guy, weren't you?
That's the one, mate.
Dirty Converse and cord trousers.
50p.
Loads of like purple outfits.
Yeah. It was all good. It was all good. Listen, we said we should do a bit of a playoff special because we're going into the playoffs. And you wasted no time bringing in a playoff hero,
legend,
and an old mate of yours. And we were just speaking about. I'm going to put him on the spot in a minute when we bring him in because we were talking about his performances in the playoffs all those years ago, 13 years ago. This week was it?
Yeah. I mean, I was just having a really, really sad week, thinking, oh, I'm just going to watch the whole of the playoff semi-final again, and then the final after it. And when you think back and you forget about like individual performances, and this guy for me was absolutely top notch throughout the playoffs and throughout the season. Really, I can probably feel his head getting bigger and bigger as we speak. But what a guy, what a player, and what a career!
Should we bring him in?
Go on, bring him in.
Yeah, Magic Toad.
Hello, guys.
How are you, pal? You well?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm really good.
Good, glad to it. What you're fair. Before you logged on, by the way, you were compared to a certain left-footed magician, by the way, by Chris.
It's true.
Ian Hart.
So you're our version of Ian Hart.
I'll take that.
The free kick master. Because you did score a good few, didn't you? A good few.
I did. I scored. I think that's probably my best spell on free kicks. I don't think I've hit the target since.
So what's football saying for you then these days?
Well, I signed for Warrington when I left Macclesfield, and then obviously that season got finished. So at the minute, I'm sat indoors, just enjoying semi-retired life.
Semi-retired. You're never fully retired. When there's lower league teams sniffing, you're never fully retired, are you?
Nah, I'm just waiting for Just waiting for it to start back up again and go back. Well, if they want me back, I've not heard from Cards. I've not heard from him, so I'm just waiting for the phone to ring.
Well, listen, guys, we're one screen away from a five-a-side team. You know,
where would you play, Chris? You're your goalkeeper, aren't you?
I could go in that. Just don't make me do the whole game, mate. Give me 10 minutes out at the end.
I reckon get 2 players in and I'll start on the bench.
Yeah, I don't even think you'd make the bench.
Mate, I'm just a fat dad now. It's great.
Over it, right?
I'm knackered. Just flick. I can't flick it on 5-a-side.
Nice foot of death.
So Rosie, we'll get going with the county stuff. It's obviously end of the season this week. County confirmed in the playoffs, although what order and things yet to be decided. Have you been keeping an eye on the county stuff since you moved on?
To be totally honest, only a little bit. It's one of them, innit, where you get busy with other stuff and you kind of. I try not to watch football anymore. My 4-year-old won't let me. But no, obviously I do see the results from time to time, and it's really good for them to be up there and in around it.
If we can, let's go back in time a little bit because Dicko was talking about, as you heard, your playoff experience and that kind of time. Before we start talking about the games in particular, what are your memories of county around that period?
I think we just had a really good tight-knit squad. The lads, you know, we were so close, like as a group. You know, we'd go out on nights out, as Dicko's mentioned, and you know, we'd do so much together as a group of lads. And I think that's what helped us get where we got. You know, the Wickham games in the semi-finals were tough. I actually didn't think I was going to play in the first leg. And then we had a big speech off Jimbo saying that he was picking his best team from the whole season. But I went into the Wickham.
You thought I'm definitely not playing now.
Yeah. You not remember his speech before the game?
I remember it, yeah. I remember it.
He was stood there and he's going, I'm going to choose my best left back who's been over the season. Rosie, you're playing. And then he was like, my best centre halves and all the rest of it, went through everyone. And I, like, before that, I got to the game and I thought, I'm not going to play here. I just who else was play, and then obviously I played.
Who would have played in your position?
I think Jimmy McNulty, maybe.
Jimmy McNulty,
Griff there.
Jimmy Matt, maybe Griff. I think Jimmy was more higher in the pecking order at that point than Griff.
Yeah.
But obviously Jimmy could be used centre half as well because Jimmy didn't play.
Yeah, I think Jimmy and Gaz played centre half, didn't they?
Rainsy and Gaz played in the first leg. Was it Rainsy and Gaz the first leg?
Yeah, yeah, it might have been. Yeah.
And then Rainsy missed the second leg, and Jimmy came in the second leg. I think it was. But I remember. Do you remember when? I remember when Rosie first came in, and we had Robbo. Do you remember Robbo?
Yeah.
Jordi Robbo. Obviously, Robbo was a number 3, and obviously,
Who's Robbo? Just remind us.
Is it Mark Robinson?
Mark Robinson.
Yeah. So Robbo's there before Jim's there. Robbo was the left back for County. Obviously, Jim wants to build his team, and he brought Rosie in, and then we got the first season that we got our numbers. So Rosie was number 3. Rosie took the number 3 shirt, and the gaffer gave Robbo number 11. Robbo was like, "Fucking hell, I think he wants me to play left wing." Oh mate, you're just trying to make you feel better because Rosie took your number 3 shirt, and I don't think he lasted that long. I think he went elsewhere, back up north. But yeah, that was one of my first memories of Rosie coming. Took that number 3 shirt, and Robbo was like, "I think I'm going to be playing left wing."
So where did you come from, Rosie? Just cast us back to that time.
Well, I grew up around Swinton, so I've always lived in Manchester, but I'd moved to Yeovil. I'd been at Yeovil for 2 years. I signed for Yeovil, signed a 2-year deal, and then didn't really play in my second year, so I ended up going on loan. And in the January, I think Scunthorpe and Stockport came in for me in the January. And I think Stockport were rock bottom. of the league, and Scunthorpe were near the top, so it was obviously a no-brainer for me to go to Scunthorpe.
Yeah.
And then end of the season, Scunthorpe didn't want to do anything. Yeovil, I was out of contract, and then I spoke to Stockport and ended up signing that summer.
Okay.
So, it was the season when we just missed out on playoffs, wasn't it? Your first full season.
Yeah.
That team.
Did you survive? Did you survive on the last day?
Last day of the season, we survived, and it was like we just won the league, mate. The fans were on the pitch. It was crazy. The feeling, mate, was almost as good as obviously the Wembley feeling. Literally just staying in the football league on the last day. The fans were on the pitch. It was nuts. But then that's the kind of when the revamp came around, and obviously the gaffer brought yourself in, like the Gaz Owen, Jimmy Mack, Gary Dicker. I think Dixie came in the second season, I think, but we had like Jason Taylor, Pooley, and that was kind of how the revamp started. It got rid of the likes of the Matty Amshaws and the Briggses and stuff, and it was kind of rebuild and trying to take the club in a different direction.
Yeah.
Some of the names you say there, I mean, when you talk to county fans, you know, certainly the last kind of 20, 30 years, the legendary team of the 90s is usually the highly spoken of one. But when you look at that team and you guys were all part of, the in the road, the playoffs and everything around it, such a good team. Like, it's so highly spoken. And Rosie, you came in and you were really kind of a key part of that. Played in some big games and as we were saying there, scored some goals. You always know, I think you've made it as a player when you've got your own dedicated song. And obviously, Michael Rose got Magic. That sticks for me. You don't forget that.
Yeah, sing it for us, Chris.
Well, do you know what? I'm gonna say this. I wanted to say this to Michael Rose for nearly 3 years now, because I didn't even put two and two together. My daughter turns 3 in what we're in now, June. So in about 3 months she turns 3, and her name is Maggie Rose. And it was not designed because of Michael Rose. I didn't even think about it. But the first time the family come round to see her and all that, my brother starts going, Maggie Rose, got Magic. And it stuck, so we always sing it to her, and she loves it. It still goes on. The legend lives on. But yeah, I feel like you had a good spell. You seemed a happy player there.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time. I mean, saying that, when I first signed, I think the first game was Hereford at home. Yeah. And we got beat 2-0. And then I think we went to Walsall on the Tuesday night, maybe. I don't know whether that was in the Cup or another league game. And he played me left centre-half of a free. I've never been a centre-half. And then the next Saturday, I wasn't playing. And I went in to see him on the Friday, and I was like, you brought me in the summer. I've played 2 games, and now I'm not playing. Like, what's going on? And he said, well, this is Jim Gannon, sat there, and he went, well, you know, you don't laugh at me jokes. And I went, what? He said, you don't laugh at me jokes. He said, I'm still trying to work you out. I said, so you're telling me I'm not playing because I'm not laughing at your jokes? And he went, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I said, well, you've just said I'm not playing because I don't laugh at your jokes. And I was a bit like, so I think from then on, me and Jimbo had a bit of a rocky journey, I think. But you know,
not to put words in your mouth, there must have been a mutual understanding though, because you played for so long.
I know. I just felt like he was obviously the manager. He was in charge. He had his views and ways of doing things, and like I wanted us to do better, and I had my ideas. Obviously, I was a young lad thinking. I wasn't thinking sort of I could take over the whole place kind of thing, but
yeah.
I don't know. I just think it was a bit of a clash of personalities, really. And then towards the end, it was like I wasn't going to stay if Jimbo was still there.
Were they not funny, Rosie?
I was going to say, can you think of any?
I can't think of a joke that he told that made me laugh.
This show's uncensored.
That story will stick in my head from a quote from a manager. Why am I not playing, Gaffer? Gaffer, why am I not playing? Well, you don't laugh at me jokes. And I'm like...
So, but Chris...
All you can do is go away and work on it, isn't it?
Chris, what you've got to remember is that obviously in that time, the season we went up, although Rosie was obviously a young lad. He was a senior pro, weren't you? You were one of the oldest on the scene. I think Gaz Owen was, what, 26? And you were, what, 20, maybe 24, 25?
Yeah.
I was 22. That, yeah. You were a couple years. But, like, being a senior pro at 24 years old, you know, it's
mad, isn't it?
I feel like you probably had a lot of responsibility on your shoulders as well, because you've got the Tommy Rolls, the Turnbulls, you know, the young lads up and going, the Pilks, spending a lot of time. And you know, it's all right having that. You need that balance, don't you? The going out and having a laugh and stuff, but then putting it on the pitch and the training ground. And I think management probably looks at you like maybe yourself and Gaz Owen and Ash Williams. You know, the senior pros, the leaders.
I think Dicko, though, I think in the changing rooms it was like that. The lads seen it that way. Yeah. But I don't think Gaffer saw it that way.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy with like us trying to do it ourselves, was he? It was all kind of his way and
Don't
get me wrong, he's done unbelievable. I'm not like on here to slag Jimbo off.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just one of them where I think something drew the lads so close together, and it was, you know, we'd all be moaning about having meetings that were 3 hours long before training and stuff, which all goes on at other clubs.
Those slideshows and clips, mate.
Oh, mate, when he walked in with his VCR under his arm.
But it went from a Friday. It went from a Friday to a Thursday and a Friday, and it was like a good hour and a half before. While Wardy's sat there drinking coffee and dipping his toast in his fucking coffee.
Oh, they've been a good old days, though, wouldn't they?
No, mate, I wouldn't change it for anything. What a time that was.
I mean, the only thing I had to compare it to is like when you're in school and the VCR gets wheeled in.
Oh, it was that was good. That was good because it wasn't like that.
All the lads used to race home from training to get on Call of Duty together. We'd all be sat all afternoon playing Call of Duty on the PlayStation.
On a Friday, we had Kangaroo Court on a Friday.
It was like every day.
Who was good on Call of Duty and who was not so hot?
I can't relate to any of this.
I'm going to say me, because no one can remember. I'm going to say me. I was the best.
I didn't have a computer at that time. I couldn't afford one. I wasn't enough money.
So
we had Pooley and Rosie were like at that time. They both had no hair. Rosie used to pick his hair, and it was just Phil and Grant Mitchell, and that was a nickname. Phil and Grant, thick as thieves they were.
Didn't Pooley used to have like outrageous boots, cowboy boots or something?
Yeah, but it was one of them ones. What do you mean? What boots?
Like cowboy boots where you walk around or something.
No.
I remember hearing some stuff. Who did?
Cuban heels he used to wear.
Oh yeah, he's again. He's one of you lot. He's like he's a City fan, so he likes all the indie stuff and a bit weird, aren't they? A bit weird, them lot. It's not. It won't include R&B like us. What?
No, fair enough.
When me and Rosie were the DJ, me, Rosie and Chris were the DJs on the match day.
Mate. What we need is we need a Dicko compilation. Like, you know, maybe we release it and earn a few quid on it on a CD. I don't know. We sell it like now that's what I call county changing room music.
You don't want to know what goes on in the county changing room, especially when we were there.
Rosie, take us through your memories of the playoffs and ultimately of Wembley. Because over the last kind of year and a half, 2 years since COVID has been going on, we've had a lot of players from the 90s and from your period. And I love hearing that, like Gary Dicker came on and he spoke really well about it. Rainsley, Bully, they've all come on. Tommy Rowe's been on a few times talking about that spell and they all have different memories of specifically of Wembley, but of the playoffs as a whole. You know, everyone was there experiencing the same thing, but they've all got their own little kind of insight into it. What are some of your memories and look back to that?
A long time ago now, isn't it? But no, it was just the whole experience of obviously getting there, winning the semi-finals, and that buzz of, you know, we're going to Wembley, because that is for every footballer, it's a dream to play at Wembley, and especially if you've won there, Like it's something that you can take with you forever. And even going into the game, I thought like, you know, travelling down, getting sorted in the hotels, and turning up at Wembley, we all had our suits on and kind of looked the part. And Rochdale turned up in tracksuits, and I think we kind of had the upper hand from the start. And then we went 1-0 down in the game. But even when we were 1-0 down, I knew we was going to win. I knew 1-0 down. I thought we'll still win this. It's not a problem. It's one of them where you could go the other way and think, oh, this is it now. We've lost. But we battered them, I think, that day. And like going through the game, I knew we'd win. Knew it.
Looking back, when you look back and you look at like individual players, for me, it was only after County I kind of realised how good some of the players were that were in our squad. One of the main ones for me was Gary Dicker. Until I left there, and obviously played him at Brighton, he was unreal. He read the game so well, and you like to see yourself looking at the games. It was just like you were cruising through the games. It looked easy at times. I watched the playoff final last week, and it was just like it looked easy. You had the window in your back pocket. You won every tackle, every header. And it's only when you take a step back, and a few years on, maybe possibly, when you look and you read the game a lot different as you get older, don't you? The movement and the position of players and stuff. And for me, yourself, Rowan, Pilks, you know, at the time you think, oh, we're great players, we're a great team, we're winning games. It's only when you look back at it and think, you know what, there were some special players there.
I know. I think I was the only one that didn't get a decent move out of that team.
You almost went to Norwich.
You went to Derby. Pilks went to Huddersfield. Tommy Rowe went. Where did he go? Peterborough. Dicker went to Brighton.
You had Gary Dicker, Sonny, who went to Brighton. Jimmy Mack went to Brighton.
I was still at Stockport for 2 years after that, I think.
With Jim?
Everyone's getting their big moves, and I'm still there with Jimbo. Thinking,
not laughing at his joke.
I know. Maybe if I'd have laughed, he'd have took me at Brighton.
What happened? So what happened with Norwich?
We had a game on the Tuesday night. I can't remember who it was against, but my agent rang me about 11:30 on the Tuesday night, and he said, "Do you want to go to Norwich?" And I was like, "Why are you even asking?" Of course, I want to go to Norwich. Because I think they had a game on the Tuesday night. It was like full fixtures, and Adam Drury pulled his hammy or pulled his thigh, so he was going to be out for like 6 weeks. And Norwich was sort of third or second at the time, and he said, "Right, let's get it sorted." So they wanted me to go on loan with a view to a permanent move, but because Stockport were in administration, the administrators were trying to stop it because of loss of assets and all that, devalue the club and stuff. So it nearly didn't go through. So on the Wednesday, was it the Wednesday? It was either the Wednesday, all day Wednesday, I was sat in the office at Stockport with Mark Maguire, like literally from 10 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, waiting for him to speak to the administrators. Oh, they're in meetings, they're not coming back to me, all the rest of it. And I said, look, this is a one-off opportunity for me to go and play for a club like Norwich. You've got to let me go. And he said, I can't do it without the administrators say so. And I said, you can't. We're struggling at the bottom of the league, and someone at the top of the league, a club like Norwich, want to sign me. I said, how can you stop me going? And he said, oh, it's not my decision, it's down to them. I said, look, I got to the stage where I just said to Mark, I said, right, I'm going. I said, sort it with administrators. I will not play for this club again. And I didn't want it to end like that, but I kind of had to force my hand to get me a move to Norwich. And then I went down, done my medical on the Thursday, trained on the Friday, and I wanted to. They originally said sign on loan till the end of the season and sign a 2-year. So obviously loan with a view to permanent. But the administrators wouldn't let it happen because I still had a year at Stockport. So they wanted me to go on loan to Norwich and then go back to Stockport for the following year.
So obviously I went to Norwich
and played till the end of the season. We won the league that year at Norwich.
Yeah.
But Stockport went down, so I was kind of like
you've gone from a position where you're going to go to the Championship or you go into League Two.
Yeah, and then obviously the summer came, and I was trying to get hold of my agent, couldn't get hold of him. And then he rang me eventually and said, "Oh, Norwich has fell through. They're going for someone else. Signed some lad from Scotland, some Scottish Prem. I don't know. I can't remember his name." And then that was it. I either went back to Stockport or tried to go somewhere else, and that's when I signed for Swindon. Then. Yeah.
So I forgot you was at Swindon. Swindon was a good club at that time. Swindon was a decent team at that time.
Yeah, because I'd left Norwich and we played Swindon. I played quite well in that game. And I was on holiday in Cyprus, and Danny Wilson rang me and he was like, "Oh, you played well. We want to sign you for next year." And I'm thinking, "Oh, that's perfect. They've just been beat in the playoffs. They've got a right chance next year, have a right go."
Yeah.
Signed for Swindon, and the squad we had was ridiculous. We had like Sean Morrison at centre half, who's now playing at Cardiff. Jonathan Douglas, who's been in the Prem, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
David Prutton, Charlie Austin. Who else did we have?
Douglas was he at Leeds as well?
Jonathan Douglas from Leeds, yeah. We had Alan O'Brien, who played for Newcastle. We signed David Ball, who is now in New Zealand or wherever
New Zealand, yeah.
So we had that type of squad and ended up getting relegated.
Wow.
It was, on paper, that was one of the best squads I've been involved in, and we ended up getting relegated.
It's crazy. It's football crazy.
Yeah. So the end of that season, then it was a case of we had meetings, and they said, "Right, the club's gone down. If you can get another club and you want to leave, you're all free to leave." And then I signed for Colchester then.
Yeah. I think we were at Colchester around about the time I was at Southend.
Yeah.
Sure,
because John Ward came in, didn't he, as Gary Ablett's number 2?
Yeah.
For a little bit, and John Ward was then manager of Colchester. So I got hold of him in the summer. I said, "Look, Swindon have gone down. We're all free to go. Would you be interested?" And he was like, "Yeah, 100%. Get down there." So that was it. I ended up down there, signed for them.
Rosie, did you ever play against either Dicko or Matty?
Against who, sorry?
Either Dicko or Matty?
Yeah, I think he played the first game. I was on loan at Leeds.
Yeah.
Played in that game, didn't you? I definitely got booed off, by the Leeds fans. I got no, this isn't banned, so I got booed off. I distinctly got booed off by Leeds fans, and all the here is the county fans. Fucking like that.
That against us?
What's that?
Was that against us?
Rangers marking you on it.
Yeah, Reigns, there's a photo of Reigns here, me going up for a header, and Reigns' knee in my back. And Sonny pulled his hamstring shock.
I've never played against you, ever.
Nah.
No, I don't think so.
And you know what though? I didn't realise the situation with Norwich. The whole, obviously, because I went through a similar situation when I went to Derby, and I was actually on holiday in Napa, and my agent phoned me saying, you need to get home. They're turning bids down for you from Norwich and Derby, from not Forest and Derby. So I flew home, got a flight home early. Went to see Mark Maguire. What's going on? He's like, "Oh, it's not. We've not at all. It's not up to me. This, that, and the other." The same little obviously the feel he was giving you. It's not down to me. You need to speak to such and such. You need to speak to Jim. So I said, "Well, where's Jim? He's in Ireland." I was like, "Brilliant! I could have stayed in Napa." So, so when Jim's finally come home, we went for a coffee, had a bit of a chat and stuff. And he's give it, obviously, we can't offer you the money that these championship clubs are offering you, but we can give you some more. And this, that, and the other. I was like, it's not about the money. But again, like yourself, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Derby in the championship, we've just been relegated from the Prem. I want to play that as high as I possibly can. And Jim give it the, well, if you're showing no loyalty, we've got to look at it as a business situation. You're our main asset. Do we really need to sell you? And again, like yourself, if you're not going to sell me, don't play me. Don't play me again.
Yeah, exactly.
And you kind of have to push it through myself.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation, isn't it? Because I love my time at Stockport, and like played probably some of my best football there. But when a club like Norwich and like you say Derby come in, you can't turn that down.
No.
That's what you're going to the game for when you're a kid.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Does the saying resonate that you play as high as you can for as long as you can?
Play football, yeah.
Just
say. Play
like
football,
for me now,
not
looking
on the
back.
bench.
Yeah, I think for me now, looking back, I wish I'd enjoyed it more. Because when I used to panic thinking, right, I've got to play really well today. I've got to play well. But as I got older, I just kind of enjoyed it more, and I've actually played better.
Rosie, one thing I want to ask you before the signal goes, if that's what's happening. We were talking about it off air, and I'm just going to be completely candid and honest about it. As a fan, it was one of my most memorable times supporting County, and the whole storyline of the playoffs against Wickham and Paul Lambert and everything was a big deal at the time. You know, it was one of those things. Did you play at Norwich while Paul Lambert was there?
Yeah, it was Paul Lambert that signed me. Yeah.
What was he like to work with? Because he's obviously not left a great impression with the Stockport County fans. What was he like to work with?
He was a bit strange, if I'm honest. He was a weird one. He was quite tough on everyone. My first game, I think we played Hartlepool at home, and he literally walked in. He had his sheet of paper with a team on, and he's literally read the names out as fast as he could and walked out the room. And I'm thinking, like, am I playing or not? I didn't even hear my name. You what? Sorry.
He took the paper back out the room with him.
He just like he come in, yeah, just disappeared. But you know, it worked for him because they got promoted to the Championship and then they went on again to the Premier League.
What did you guys make of his comments? What did you guys make of his comments when he was saying things like training? What did you guys, when you were playing for County, what did you make of his comments when it was like, I've trained in front of more people than Ned Brown can hold and stuff like that? Oh, no.
Oh, we're not lost him, have we? I think we'll have to get a Michael Rose Part 2 on.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We've got you. We'll give it one more go. And then if it doesn't work, we'll arrange the Part 2. Can you hear us, Rosie?
Here we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear us?
It's so crackly, it's ridiculous.
My question was, when you guys were players and you heard him say things like trained in front of more people than their ground can hold. How did that rev you? How did that make you feel? Did it rev you up? Did it anger you?
I can't hear a thing you're saying.
All right, we'll do a Part 2.
I can't hear you.
I'm going to kick you out. I'll let Dicko say.
Yeah, let's do a Part 2.
Rosie, thank you very much for joining us. If you can hear us, thank you very much.
That's from Rosie. Cheers, Rosie, lad.
Well, that ended abruptly, but we can carry on the conversation. What a legend, by the way. Yeah, what was it like when you hear those comments? And I don't know. I know, Matty, you weren't playing them, but
no.
If you put yourself in if you take the eyes of a player, if you like, you spent long enough as a player.
Yeah.
What does it do to you when you hear? Let's be honest, disrespectful comments like that. Like, what does it do to you?
I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know what was said or whatever, but you've got to see people on the circuit again, you know, and I think try and avoid all that stuff because you never know what when you're going to come round. You know, when you might get a chance again with County, you might not. At the end of the day, nobody wants to leave somewhere not being liked, do they? So it's a business. These things happen, but I mean, it's a circuit at the end of the day. It's one big circuit, and things come back round.
It's a short career, and for me, I learned that you should never burn your bridges. You know,
did those comments that Paul Lambert made filter into the dressing room?
I did. Well, I think they did. I think Jim had mentioned something actually, and everyone's different. Everyone's got their own way of dealing with situations and comments, and it fires some people up. It makes people nervous or whatever. For me, the big stage fired me up. Didn't need comments off an opposition manager or opposition player or what have you. For me, it was the big stage, and that's what excited me. And playing against the best players in that league, because obviously they were there for a reason. Rochdale were in the playoffs for a reason because they were one of the best sides in the league. Wickham were, and if their manager wants to try and play mind games or whatever, then so be it. But for me, it never affected me as a player.
As a fan, I look back on it and I'm actually glad he said it now, because it added so much to the atmosphere. I mean, the atmosphere was already popping.
It was unreal. It was unreal, the atmosphere.
But when you get someone that really makes it easy to dislike them, and they say that, and as a fan, you're giving it everything. You've had a skinful in the bars over the road before the game, and this guy's coming out trash talking your club. It gives you that bit of extra kind of heat in the stands, and
it just made the day, didn't it? It made the experience.
There's probably of the millions of people that are watching this right now. I reckon a good chunk of them are going, "What did he say after the Gleeson goal? That goal changes nothing." That was the famous line from him.
Yeah,
Gleeson has just scored the best goal the world has ever seen, and their manager has come out and gone, "It changes nothing." Well, it actually did. So I don't know. I quite enjoyed that rivalry, but
random one. I got a follow off an ex Wickham player on Twitter. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Johnson, obviously, who played in the semi-final and was marking me. And it's nice to he just popped up. Hope you're doing well. Drop me a little message. Hope you're doing well. Listen to your podcast the other day. Thinking about the old time. Can't believe it was 13 years ago. We had some great battles, and it's it's nice. It's a game. It's a game. We love the game. Don't get me wrong, but it's a game, and I go back to what I go back to. You look at last night's the United performance last night. Marcus Rashford, he didn't have a good game, but he didn't deserve to be racially abused. I mean, it's just a game. These fans, and fans do love it, and for a lot of fans, football's everything. Football's life. Football makes the world go round, and it gives them that happy place and something to think about and concentrate on. But it's still a game, and the human beings playing with it, they might be paid £300,000 a week, but they don't deserve to be racially abused and tortured like that. So for me, when Leon's popped up, when Johnson's popped up, just to say hello, good times, great battles back then, the good old days. It's nice. It reminds you of why you actually play the game.
Yeah, I agree, but on the racial thing, it's embarrassing. It makes me not want to be involved in the game.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, you bringing your kids up and stuff, and you want them to be involved in footy. Of course you do, but like you just hear like, I saw Rashford tweeted like he had 70,
and one was a school teacher.
Like, I don't want to be a part of that society. Do you know?
Mate, whether you play good or bad, you're a human being. You don't just if someone made a mistake at Asda, someone spilled something on an aisle, do they deserve to get racially abused?
It's embarrassing. Football's the language at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That shouldn't come into it. That's Neanderthalic, that sort of behaviour. It's
uneducational.
I love
people.
I love more than anything bantering Man United fans. Right, it's great. The fact that they've just been involved in one of the best quality penalty shootouts of all time and lost it because the keeper of all people missed the thing. Yeah, I'll give him a bit of grief about that. Sure,
give him grief.
But come on, like, yeah, you know the line. I wouldn't even. It's not even edgy. It's not edgy crack. It's not
nothing. There's no banter about it. It's just nasty, brutal, uneducated. Just like it just makes my blood boil because I've been through it myself in football. I've had
before, yeah, it's
monkey chants and black this and this, that, and the other. Like, I'm not even that dark, but you know, I've had just the racial abuse during the game. You've got to try, and I'm thinking I've got this 55-year-old bloke slating me, shouting Dickinson, effing this, effing that, and I'm thinking, have you got nothing better to do in your life? You've paid to come and watch me play football against your team, and you want to sit there swearing, calling me racial names, and I got what I think it was it Crew? I was at Southend, and one of the fans said something racist, and I just lost it. I broke my ankle. I had a broken ankle at the time. It was playoff semis. I was at Southend, and I was on the bench with the lads, and at Crew, the bench is like kind of like a few tiers, like a couple of steps up, like round the crowd. Like, obviously the fans are kind of next to you. And this guy, I just turned around and I just looked, and I just fucking stood up and started getting up, and the fair play to the steward next to me. He heard it, and he was straight up there, got hold of him, get out, not having any of that here, straight out the door. Missed the rest of the playoff semi-finals. But it's a game. It's a game. It's a game that we all love, and it's close to all our hearts, and it's passionate, and that's the passion is why people scream and shout and get frustrated. But to take it to that next level, there's just no final thing, any sport, or there's no place for that in life, let alone football.
Yeah, well, yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. The final thing I can really say on it is just to pick up on something you said. Then you said, "I'm not even that dark." It shouldn't matter.
Yeah, of course.
It shouldn't matter. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, it is. It's a complete embarrassment, and
well, that's a select few idiots that watch football. The majority of people who watch football, they love the game, they love the teams, they love the clubs, they love the sport, they love the getting out on a Saturday, they love the routine, and that's the good thing about football. That's what football brings to the world, and I think it's an amazing thing that some of the people that are up there, the Rashfords, that they're doing, because they're using their stature for good with the the school dinners and stuff, and they shouldn't have to go through some of the things that they're going through.
Guy's a role model. Like, it doesn't matter if he has a good game or a bad game. Yeah. I'm no Man United fan, but fair play to the kid.
He'll have great games again. It's going through a little period, isn't he? But he'll fly again. No two ways.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about the football then. It's one game to go. Determines where we are in the playoffs. It actually determines. It actually, with the structure in the non-league and the playoff system, it's actually quite an important game because it determines whether you play potentially 2 or potentially 3 games. As a player, surely you only want to play the 2, or
the biggest game of the season by a country mile. It's the biggest game of the season,
and it's in our hands as well. So
yeah.
You
want to go into the playoffs giving yourself the best opportunity and coming third. It does that.
No bigger incentive, is there, to go and win?
No, not at all. Not at all. You want to play as little as possible in the playoffs. You don't want to be playing extra games because obviously that's more chance of you going out. We, like Matt said, it's in our own hands, and I feel like the writing's on the wall. It kind of feels like a 2008 season where it's meant to be.
Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, definitely.
Because obviously your insight is different to ours in that you were part of that. We were on the periphery, if that's the right word, but you were part of it. You were in it, and you get that feeling.
I definitely get that feeling. Yeah, 100%. This is definitely the year for us. 100%.
It's going to feel so good. Listen, I don't want to jinx anything. If it's this year or next year or whenever, when we get to say the words county at Football League again, it's just, so something. Who in the playoffs do you fear? Not maybe fear is the wrong word, but who are you apprehensive of?
I don't think you can overlook anybody. I think it's a lottery when you hit the playoffs.
Yeah, especially.
With us.
Sorry, Matt. Especially, it's just one leg, isn't it?
Yeah.
So on the day, I mean, over 2 legs, you've got the better teams usually got more of a chance over 2 legs.
Yeah.
But on the day, it's basically if we come third, we've got 2 finals, haven't we? We've got 2 finals, and that's what it boils down to. Who's the best in the day, and the teams that are involved, they're all good teams. They're up there for a reason. Like I said earlier about when it was County, Wycombe was up there for a reason. Rochdale were, that's you're not up there. You're not up there.
You need performances as well. I think the game that Liam and Rosie were involved in, the final, I think if you look at it, because Rochdale were no mugs, they wouldn't have been in that position if they were mugs. But if you look at the game, I think we had 7, 8 or 9 of our lads who won their individual battles, and I think that's what makes a win in such an important game. So many, like Liam said before, so many good performances. Bully, man of the match. Liam done his job, scored. Pilks, very lively. Rosie, strong. All the lads, you can name 8 or 9, 10, all of them. And I think that's what contributes to winning a game of such importance. And I think it's going to have to be the same again. We're going to need performances.
So to take Dicko's sentiment then, when you're saying it's 2 cup finals if we finish in the top 3, surely then that makes this weekend a cup final, because if you don't win it, you don't get the top 3.
Going back to what I said, this is the most important game of the season now.
Yeah,
we need to get in that top 3.
It's the game that separates the men from the boys, is it?
It is. Definitely.
We'll sign off. We'll sign off in a minute. What would your words to the players be either advice, luck, all the best? What would you say to the players if either of you could get in the dressing room now for 5 minutes? What would you say?
Do what you've done all season.
Yeah, just enjoy it. Enjoy yourself, and do yourself proud.
Do your jobs. Yeah. Win your battles and do your jobs.
And we'll see you in Kangaroo Court if you don't.
Yeah, we will.
Listen, okay, fine. All right, brilliant. That we'll wrap up. But one final question, and it pains me to say it, but we did say we'd always try and talk about the wider football scene as well. And it pains me to say that it's such a spectacle at the Champions League finals this week, and it's 2 teams that I don't really have take much enjoyment from watching. But City Chelsea, can we get a prediction for that game?
Go first, Liam.
I think it's going to be 2-1 City. I think they're going to cruise to a 2-0 and Chelsea might get a late goal.
You see, I thought you were going to say Chelsea then, because
I want Chelsea to win. I've got too many Blue fans. I've been hammered all day. I've got too many Blue fans, so I want Chelsea to win. But I feel like it's City's time, and to be honest, if City win, the best team has won it.
Matty?
Yeah, totally agree. I think it's going to be a bit of a rollicking for City. I think they're going to hammer them.
Yeah.
I think the game will be over in the first half. I'm not really sure on what score, 2-3-0, but I think it'll be over. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think the writing was on the wall a little bit when
I do.
When they lost to Villa last week. Chelsea, they look. Tuchel's done an incredible job since coming in, but they look knackered now. And
is that reverse psychology?
Well, it's a bit of a gamble to take reverse psychology into a game where they could have finished outside the top. But listen, Chelsea next season, I think, could be a real force.
Yeah, it could be. They've got some great talent there. I'm still confused why Tammy Abraham isn't playing, but
he's going to end up going, isn't he?
What's that?
He's going to end up leaving, isn't he? If he doesn't play.
Yeah, you're scoring goals in the Premier League. I think he's the leading goal scorer over the last 2 seasons for Chelsea, and he's not played much under Tuchel. Is that probably much at all? I feel like
they've got where they've got, haven't they? So it's hard to argue.
He's at an age where he needs to be playing regular football, and he doesn't want to be a Jesse Lingard where he's a squad player for a large amount of time.
It's crazy because Chelsea have such form for doing this. You could almost see him being another, and I'm not comparing the 2 players, but you could see it. No, being another Lukaku situation where they bring him back. They don't use him properly again, so they let him go again, and now they're after him again.
Yeah.
Like just keep him and make it work.
Look how many players they've done with that. They've done Salah, they've done it with De Bruyne, they've done it with Pogba. They've done it with lots of players.
Mainwaring. Yeah.
But we'll see. Anyway, but There's more important games than the Champions League final anyway, isn't there?
County Yeovil, mate.
County.
Slowville, as I once heard.
I hate going all the way down there.
Yeah.
Look at
Nice
that.
though. You get
There's grass everywhere. It's boring, mate. It's not for me.
Well, fellas, listen, enjoy the game. We should do some form of watch along when we get into the playoffs or something. We'll figure it out. We're free, guys, and we need to get Rosie back on for part 2. And Griff, maybe we do something.
Rosie and Griff, definitely. Yeah. But till then,
we'll go and buy them both a new router in the meantime, boys.
It's been emotional.
Cheers, fellas.
Peace.